the China pilot was actually sponsored by Iron China, Illuminate, and LANCELOT School. Iron China helped us find some students in China that would like to learn languages live online. And Illuminate provided the virtual classroom, and then LANCELOT School provided the certified live online trainers. And the school, the kids were about 13 to 16 years old. There were about 15 to 16 of them, and the school actually requested all of these topics, and we only were able to do about 6 or 7 because the pilot was only about 6 to 8 weeks long. And so the ones in bold were the ones we were actually able to do. And so basically the first part of this pilot, though, we had to really teach the kids how to use the virtual classroom. That was a really big thing, and the students continuously didn't understand to turn off the mic, for example. We also had some wonderful teachers. Jan Holland was one of them. She's currently finishing up her a contract in Italy teaching English, and she's originally from the Isle of Man, and she was very, very enthusiastic about teaching these students. And we did a lot of different activities. This is one of them where we just asked the students what's going on in this picture, what are they reading, and we left a lot of space on the whiteboard for the kids to write. So the kids, one person would speak while the other kids were writing and answering the questions on the whiteboard, and it was really fun for them. And also, we also had several lessons where a couple lessons where we actually had them talk about themselves and their daily routine, since they were only around have studied English for about 3 years. And we also had the students fill in again the chart while one was talking, and we tried to do a lot of repetition as well. So this matching activity came after they had spoken for about 20 minutes about their daily routine. Then we talked about when do you do this, and they all drew lines, and they really enjoyed that. In the middle of the pilot, we got this idea that we really should give the students something to really be motivated about, and so we found a school that would come for the last lesson for them to actually present China to the school. And so we began preparing them for the Germans. And I found a school in Karlsruhe, the Fichte Gymnasium, and the idea was that the students would actually work together, not work together, but give presentations to each other about their country, their school, and their their city. And the school in Germany was 7th grade. There were 28 kids in the class, and this was the slide actually that we showed the Chinese students about, so that they would know who they were planning for. We set up a Ning site so that the students could communicate synchronously and asynchronously for this. And then we asked the Chinese students to set up some PowerPoints, to start working on some PowerPoints. And this is for an example of one of them. Terry set up this PowerPoint, and it's a very beautiful PowerPoint. And he also did an audio file introducing himself, and we were able to put the two together, which was really nice. And Terry was actually a fairly quiet person. He didn't really volunteer to speak, but he was very motivated. And then there's Alice, who volunteered every time. She was a very, very motivated young gal, and this is an example of her slide. And I wish I could show you all of the slides, but I had to be really careful about which ones to show because there was so much involved with this. And anyway, finally we actually got together. We had a last closing ceremony where the kids were able to present their different countries, the school, and the city. And the next slide should be coming up soon. And this was actually the program. They had 3 minutes to talk about and show PowerPoint slides, and then there would be discussion. And it worked. It started out slow. The kids were very nervous at first, and then by the end, they became much more asking a lot more questions. Oliver, for example, presented the Huangpu School. Oliver is actually a girl. She chose Oliver as her English name, but she was a very enthusiastic young girl. And then they all talked about their city. My favorite presentations were the ones when they talked about the city. It was very interesting, and the kids started asking questions back and forth through the different chats. One of the challenges that we had, though, was that the Germans were not all able to get into, because of some IT situation, we're not all able to get into Illuminate. So they had to use, in order to chat with the Chinese, they had to use the Ning site and the chat function in Ning. And so that's one of the things that they had to do. We pilots, as you know, as teachers, we usually learn more than the students do. And one of the things that we learned is we need to really involve the face-to-face teachers as team members. They need to be involved with this. Need to have a lot of patience, and also the students need to have a purpose. And after this, I was so excited, and I really have a personal vision that I would love to see in a virtual classroom like Illuminate, 5 students from Asia, 5 students from Europe, 5 students from the Americans, all in one class, working together, and that would be the best thing. And thank you very much. I had a lot of fun. Talk to you later.